Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak, Flying with the Foam, and most importantly, some new times that I'm going to be talking about various other blasters before all this is over, because I got less than 15 episodes here just for that, so let's just get going here. Next on the list is at number 664. Going back to another bigger one right here, Elite Surgefire. And quite honestly speaking, it's been quite some time since I actually wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. So I feel like the timing is perfect here in late March 2021. So the thing is, let's just get this one done pretty much. So the Surgefire is pretty much what you think it is. A Tommy gun sort of build. But I will say for sure that it's probably more than just that, because after all, Nerf has been doing a lot of stuff with their lineups and all that, and it seems like we're going to be going down into some newer territory throughout this whole entire year of 2021, so that's pretty much going to be quite a new story to pitch in. Rivals had debuted a new series known as the Curve Shot. We got Dino Squad, we got more Ultra with a new sub-series of like blue-ish sort of colors right here, especially with the 11th blaster in the lineup. And then of course we got ourselves the so-called Hyper, which I'm constantly going to be referring to as Keen, because well, we technically had Hyper trademarked a long time ago with the Hyper Sight lineup. So yeah, that's going to count. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while once I actually get my hands on the blasters, which could be some time from now, so expect me to not talk about the Keen lineup for a while. And because I'm going to be getting close to the end of the series anyway, I will be going back to regular HJN production instead of Flying with the Foam because, well, 87 blasters. That's quite a while spent. So, going back to the Surgefire though, this one came out in 2018, just like the Thunderhawk, just like the Ruckus, just like a collection of many other blasters here and there that also came out during that time. So, I feel like that this one right here was a pretty good pick, considering how I picked this up while it was on sale at Target in summer 2019. Just before I saw the new Aladdin, which a lot of people think sucked. I honestly think it was pretty well done for a reboot, but going back to the Surgefire again, I really gotta try to avoid getting off track here. So, this is basically a Tommy Gun-esque blaster, as it contains a drum in it with a little roll cage down at the bottom. That seems to be a requirement for most blasters that have large drum magazines, or sort of the turntable style. Man, the Rotoshaw effect again. The turntable style. They pretty much had these little bumpers on the outside, or roll cages that they put on the outside to pretty much prevent it from getting broken or scratched. So I feel like that's still a pretty good touch here, but the sides are completely exposed. Probably so you can get better access to loading the darts here, which are as simple as inserting them right here. If you remember my review on the Ultra 1, which happened twice now, it's pretty much nothing like this, simply inserting the darts into the holes here. You had to specifically put them in a position where the protrusion could be sticking out through the holes in the back, which, unlike the one, however, the Surgefire here does have holes in the back, but they're meant to be for the air restrictors, so this way they can help build up air pressure behind the darts and propel them to some pretty good distances. And I could pretty much gauge that this blaster could fire between 55 to 60 feet, pretty much, which seems to be average most of the time. Even though that they started advertising performances of 75 feet, you could only get a certain amount per shot. But I could pretty much see the certain factors that happen to rely upon the performance of the blaster entirely. The condition of the darts, the type of wind pattern that goes on when you're shooting outside, the angulation of the blaster, the terrain in which that the darts are going to land on, and a few other factors seem to apply whether or not they can actually hit that advertised mark of 75 feet when shot from the blaster. But if you're just firing straight at grass and there's probably average amounts of wind speeds between 1 and 3 miles per hour on a summer day, then chances are you may not actually get up to 75 feet. Which, I feel like that's just the full potential of the blasters themselves and not necessarily the range claims that you'd probably get with every shot. So, but I will say for sure that whatever the range claim may be, it doesn't really affect the kind of blaster that this is. It doesn't really affect the way that it's designed. I mean, the Tommy Gun-esque appearance sure is pretty nifty, given to the fact that, well, some blasters are trying to mock certain real gun designs out there. But, of course, the color scheme is also pretty nice too. The standard orange and blue, as well as white, black, and light gray, it's pretty simple, but it does work, even with most of today's blasters. And the functionality, of course, is as simple as thrusting it back and forth, just like with what the Raider and Quick 16 used to do, and simply firing it there. But, of course, how could you forget that there's slam fire equipped on this? Because this, of course, has that. So that's just part of what that's all about. And I guess other things to note here will include different sling points. There's one up here, there's one near the barrel, and there's one in the grip, pretty much. If you want to count the trigger as a spot right there, then, well, that's something else that you could probably consider to be a sling attachment point, pretty much. Although it'd probably be more handy if you just hung it on the wall like this, rather than trying to attach a sling to it, whether if it's a carabiner or something else of that sort. Then, of course, you got the other three, like I mentioned, but overall, this blaster sure is a good pick. It came out in 2018, like some other blasters that I just mentioned. I might now have to talk about some of them. So that's something else down the line that we might have to pretty much consider, but this sure was a good pick that I managed to get. So, of course, you may not be able to find these very well in some stores, so you could probably go on to places like Amazon or eBay, or whatever sort of e-commerce platform that you could probably find, and it's possible that you might be able to find one of these and pick this up. And I'm sure you might find some other nifty treasures there along the way. So that's pretty much it for right now. The Surgefire is a good pick. It's got some good aesthetics and functionality to it. Its design is pretty nice for what it is. And so, of course, my overall score that I gave to it during Aftersaught is going to stay, pretty much. Because why would it change? But anyways, that's pretty much all I got to talk about here. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.